Hey Scott, thank you very much for the wonderful intro, as always. And the Q&A is about to start. Brad, are you ready?
Let's do it. I can see your desktop. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. Guys, as you guys know, Trade Ideas is not a registered investment advisor. All the information that you are going to hear from myself, Brad, Scott, Brett, Barry, or any team member of Trade Ideas is for educational and informational purposes only. So let's get ready to start the show. It's going to be a very good one today. For those of you that don't know, you are the Q&A of Trade Ideas. We are a privately held company that's one of the few in the United States, I think only 13% ever, that has been on the Inc. 5000 fastest growing privately held companies. And we've been on that list. This is our 4th year in a row. So again, only 13% of companies that have ever been on there have done it the way we're doing it. We're very proud of that. The reason that that's happened is because we are completely self-funded. We do this through you. You guys believe in us, and obviously, since we've been doing this since 2013, we've given you a reason to believe in us. 17 years going strong. And for us, there is no finish line. We continue to innovate, continue to make the product better. A lot of it comes through trial and error, and this kind of feedback where myself, Brad, and very many other team members of Trade Ideas are always interacting with the customers. We don't do the kind of focus group stuff and sort of like the marketing BS that we've all heard of and been taught. We sort of do it really hands-on, where we work with you by interacting as real people versus some sort of experiment. So here we go. And also, of course, one of the things that we're very proud of is that Trade Ideas is a completely made in the USA company by US developers. All of our code is custom written specifically for this. No outside big tech code is in our system, and that's why we're the only ones that do what we do. So one of the things that we're going to show you is that we take a different approach to investing. We think most people and most businesses focus on the entry and the exit, whereas we focus on the whole portfolio and P&L management. Your profit and loss is what matters. Okay, it's your profit and loss at the end of the day that determines everything. Will determine if you continue as a subscriber for us or if you're going to continue being in the market. We are determined to help you do it better, and one of the ways that we're doing it is through an ability for you guys to learn to trade via our simulated trading. Practice makes perfect. Learn to lose in simulated trading the right way, systematically, and then you can learn to win better. Okay? There is no other technology out there that allows you to see your P&L and the impact of price swings on different positions. Lots of people, you know, and I'm going to show you this today, by the way, with my own real trading and what I'm trying, and kind of the things that I do to help sort of motivate research and development. Okay, Brad, I'm going to minimize the Q&A and jump right into the presentation. Is everyone able to see my screen?
Yep, it looks good. We can see the Omni.
Fighting for your attention world. We want to show you why we are on that Inc. 5000 list. Okay, we are the only product out there with a system called Holly, which is our artificial intelligence powered trading system that tells you when to get in and when to get out and which stock. Now, hold on a minute. This doesn't mean that this is a get-rich-quick system and you just, you know, get in there and turn it on and it just prints money for you. No. You can trade it. You can actually, by the way, trade it with the real money. But what it does is opportunities to see buyers. One of these examples, Brad, that let me go back to real quick, tools, options. I'm going to show you, just so everyone can see here, In the AI, you can set up how much you want to trade. So in this example, I used a dollar size of 1,100 today, but I'm going to just go make it 100 shares just so you can kind of understand very simply the dollar amounts. If you were buying 100 shares of every stock today on the AI, this is what you would have done. And obviously, many of our subscribers who do this were participating. Some of the stuff that really, to give you some focus, right? The NASDAQ has been on an absolute tear. The Dow Jones has been on an absolute tear. But please be aware, even at 1,256, and today, again, NASDAQ, Brad, look, it was only up less than 1%. Okay?
Yep.
Whereas in Trade Ideas, we're trying to expose you to totally different situations. Okay? Here's an example of a 22% winner. Okay? Entry signal, exit signal, and again, you don't have to exit. That's just if you want.
Look at that post-market action too.
Look at the post-market. My goodness, guys. Wow. Let me make sure the post-market's turned on. You can see this. And I got to say that this is what separates the wheat from the chaff, okay, is that every trade, every single trade in our AI and in our system, it's a system that you can use, and many thousands of people are using it. Luis, we'll show you how to set it up. But the bottom line is the system is statistically looking at data and doing lots of practice trading. So what I'd shown you in the webinar earlier about practice, you know, how you can learn in simulation. Well, our computer does that right now. In fact, as the markets close, the software is just crunching and crunching and crunching different concepts and ideas and trying to get prepared for tomorrow. And the difference between us and AI is that AI doesn't need sleep. So again, you can see it trades different stocks, all based on statistics. Okay? Different stocks, different examples. And one of the things that we also want you to know is that, and this is something that is not easy to appreciate until you really understand it, is that here's an example of a trade. Whoops. Where there was a buy signal, and in the next candle, Brad, what happened right there? A stop.
Well, the next candle you got stopped out, but at the same time, like if you were to look at a 1 minute, it may give you a little more illustration, but essentially what happened is you got stopped out, and then there was a re-entry signal when it shot back up. So there was a ton of volatility that took place right there, but it let you know if you're probably didn't even have enough time to get out, but if you did, you also were presented with a re-entry concept because it did that type of retracing back to the original entry price.
But also we have what's called re-entries, where if the software gets you out on a stop, but the stock starts trending back in the direction, you can have the software get you back in, and that's what it does. And that's, again, the difference between really utilizing computers the right way versus, unfortunately, I feel like, Brad, today people have been sent on a fool's errand trying to find the magical indicator that works. You know, and there is no such thing as a magical indicator. There's only trial and error, and different things work at different times. And we are the only technology company in the world that approaches the market this way. And that's why, again, we are one of the fastest growing privately held companies in the United States. And that's, you know, again, Brad, you know, it's so funny, you and I, we've been in this business for a very long time. We're not billionaires. We're not trying to, you know, fly around on private jets. We come into work. We experience the real life market, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. And make inferences, and sometimes through our mistakes, we make the product much better for you. Okay. Any questions so far, Brad? How are we on Q&A?
Yeah, I think we're good. I'm looking over and it looks like Barry's kind of picking them off. So
love it, love it. So let me explain something. So we have like we have a meter here that's showing you what are the total percentage points that the system was able to accumulate today. And obviously, this is not what you would have made. Okay, it's just the total percentage points if you add the winner percentages and subtract the losers. Okay, so this is the kind of stuff that really, though, gives people that feeling of comfort and advantage, comparing themselves to just simply trading what everyone else is trading, which is the FANG stocks. Okay, and it's not that there's anything wrong with that, by the way, because I do some of that myself. And in fact, I'm going to show you some of the stuff that I was doing because I experiment there. But I'm just saying that the AI, through a simple virtue of being a statistical analysis system, is going to be in the direction of the least resistance. So here, you are short 2 and long many. And this is the total number of trades that happened today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Obviously, by the way, you don't have to take all of the trades. It's sort of up to you. And that's where a lot of the nuance comes in as people create kind of their own sort of virtual assistant. You see a trade going in the AI, you look at it, you see, like, for example, go ahead.
Maybe you can do me a favor. Louise was asking about changing the sizing of the AI. Maybe you can show how you can do it on a risk-based stop. Right now you're using 100 shares per trade, but we've got these options where you can do, let's say, $5,000, or let's say you only want to risk a certain amount if the stock was to get stopped out. And so that's how you can set it right
you
here.
only want to risk $100 per trade. You would have actually done better in this particular case today. And the beauty is that it sizes you correctly with the stop. Now, this is something that, Brad, as you know, I mean, people just can't do that kind of math really quickly in real time. The custom sizing here is done automatically. So you're going to be, depending on the volatility or whatever it is that the AI thinks should be the stop price, you're going to be in the proper size for the kind of trade that you're making. Okay, like one of the reasons, Brad, in this case, look at the volatility here on home, and the software was short this one. Okay, and the reason you were only in 95 shares is because it was so volatile, you know, especially after having this kind of a move. And so it sized you properly, making sure that you are not in too much risk. Alex, one of the things that you know you should consider is that, and people get kind of confused, that this software is for day trading and for active trading. Now, we serve both. In fact, I mean, I really don't even like the term day trading because there's no reason to get out unless you need to. Now, the need to get out comes from your financial situation, like how much risk are you willing to take on, and your results and your overall trading style. So lots of these trades are potential new entries that you can stay in and trend with. Like, for example, you know, this one, TSRI. If it goes, I mean, again, there's other ways that you can make sure that you don't miss out, and that is that any stock that the AI is in, Trade Ideas, you can right click, create a price alert, let's call it 611, and say trend in TSRI continuing. There you go. So you're still going to be alerted to it, and additionally, you can heart it. It's just like on Twitter. That means you like something, and there's a whole channel, right? So every time, and I'm going to show you the next screen in a minute, and these are all the different stocks that I've been following. I can kind of go through them and see what is the reason why, you know, I was looking at it and why it was interesting to me. So this is, again, a whole portfolio of things that I found interesting. And by the way, Brad, you know, a lot of times during the, John, it will automatically place all of these trades on for you. Right now through IB, but very soon it'll be available with TD Ameritrade or Schwab, but I don't even know which one it is now. And soon I think with E-Trade as well. So yeah, so you have the full practice trading available, but of course at the same time, you also have the ability to do it in real life. So here's another one. But again, these are just very volatile names in terms of percentages, and Bradner and BNGO is doing something in the post market. So you can just put in a little alert and say, and I'm just showing you like the way like I drive. Oops. Let me put in. BNGO is starting to go climb, but also had a very big run up. So here we are kind of coming back to this critical point. Don, the ETA on TD Ameritrade, we're actually connecting. We're just trying to, Brad, what's the best way to explain it? Continue to make sure all the
well, you know, as I was typing, we did just complete a major milestone on that. So they're at trade integration. So we're getting super close with that. We were able to send the orders. We were able to have good connectivity. There's just a little bit more functionality we're adding, like the right click menu and a few other pieces of functionality with respect to automation. So once those are done, it'll be good to go.
Fantastic, fantastic. Okay, so let me go to a channel here called Shall We Play a Game? So this is our channel bar. It's like your cable TV, lots of different channels for different things, and you can actually make your own. Okay, explosive winners, stocks that are going down because they're sinking. You can look at the sectors. I mean, different things that people like, China, biotechs. A full information exchange system. Okay, it's quite the amazing technology, and also additionally, again, you can make your own right here. But in fact, let me click on that. So I'm showing you a custom channel that I made that is actually connected to my Brokerage Plus, that is connected to Interactive Brokerage. I'll show you guys, I don't simply just day trade. I'm also looking for much longer term trends that I can ride for a long time. And I like to play around with things. One of the things that obviously that I keep my eye on is that mean reversion. Brad, you and I, we've talked about this. My goodness gracious. I mean, I can't even fathom how often we talk about the fact that market tends to mean revert, you know, and again, the moves are usually overblown in every direction. Here, this was the pandemic, and this is the pandemic rebound, okay? Just amazing. But one of the things that, Brad, that I wanted to show you, I mean, something that I saw that, again, kind of piqued my eye, and that's why I'm playing around with this. Number one, ladies and gentlemen, if you are not learning to trade the downside of the market, if you're only just buying and not shorting, well, you're missing a lot of potential. And the idea is that you don't have to be married to either side. You can do both just fine. One of the things that I'm showing you here is, for example, in these gigantic stocks, like and what I mean gigantic is like very expensive stocks like the Teslas and Netflix and Google and stuff like that, you obviously have to adjust your share sizes. And it's amazing, Brad, look what you can do with 20 shares.
Yeah, 20 shares, that's about $10,000 worth of exposure. So that's why that exposure column to me is so valuable, because you know, that's kind of the metric I use for a weighting.
No question. But a lot of people sort of don't exactly get to practice with this, and I'm showing with people, number one, here I am experimenting with the downside, okay? And I'm showing you guys that I do this, you know, and I'm a professional at this. And by the way, I don't always win. Nobody does that. That's ridiculous to even pretend that that's the case. But the beauty is that when I lose, it's sort of part of research and development, where I can learn from these mistakes and translate them back to innovation. And by me, I mean lots of people in our firm are doing the same thing. Okay, so here, let me just show you, like, I saw, oh, Tesla after hours, you know, always doing something crazy. I saw something, in, again, just in my mind, I saw that the NASDAQ, and this is what I wanted to go back to. I saw that the NASDAQ, Brad, since 8/11 was up over 1,000 points in how many days? This is less than a month. Okay. Now, it's not that this trend can't continue, but it just gives you a little bit of spider sense, you know, Brad. It's like your spider sense starts to tingle a little bit, like, hey, wait a minute, what's going on? And so I was just trying to see if there's any kinks in the armor. And so today, Tesla had a little bit of a kink in the armor. I mean, it's been on a tear of the likes of which I've never even seen, but that's what I do here. When that's the beauty of, number one, exploratory trading, right, Brad? Like, in theory, if this really starts to stay in a downtrend, which again, I'm not predicting by any means, it's just 2 days here.
I like how you can see that annotation on there where you put that position on with that, you know, that brokerage play, that beep.
And like, if all of a sudden this actually starts to decline, well, as it declines and it stays again in some sort of a downtrend, well, you can add to your position. Lots of people make the mistake of what I call, Brad, is kind of like the one and done type of trading. There's an entry and there's an exit, and that's it. But that pigeonholes you into believing that you are only, well, it pigeonholes you into this must need to be right almost all the time. Whereas here in this Tesla, you know, by going kind of small, you know, what if the real break is below 400, right? Brad, if it trickles down to below 400, then you can potentially add to this position and really ride it to 300 if, again, only if these are the cases. And I'm just trying to show you guys that with trade ideas, you can really see the stuff in a much different way. And by the way, this is also an example. Look, this is how the P&L started. In the morning, I was down 1, then it came back quickly. There was a little bit of a pullback, and then I was up 2. Okay, so I mean, stuff had started pulled back. There were what I call kinks in the armor. Okay, Netflix, you know, all-time highs. Netflix, we were on all-time highs. Tesla, Facebook, just continuing also all-time highs. And I think to myself that, well, and this is just people being rational. And Brad, I was just kind of, oh, sorry about that. Our CTO does not know that we do a webinar. Brad, maybe you can ping him on Skype and let him know that we're in the middle of a webinar.
Yeah, you got it.
So the bottom line is trying different things out. Notice you have this total P&L column. Okay, so this is since inception. Okay, I also like to play moves that you were, again, there was just so much volatility, so much potential, but it's not easy, right? So here, you know, Kodak, it's one of these things that this is one that if some news breaks, it could be a 20 overnight. So I was able to slowly position myself into it, you know, and get to 1,100 shares, not one at a time, but just kind of piecemeal in, and now I'm sort of working it. So here's something else. This is another example, Brad, of the example of another way to trade the downside. And I'm trying to showcase this stuff so that you guys can see it. So this is the inverse of the NASDAQ. So as the NASDAQ is just ripped up, okay, the SQQs are the reflective. If the NASDAQ is going up, they're going down. If the NASDAQ is going down, they're going up. It's so that if you aren't exactly sure about how to trade the short side, this is just another way to take advantage of that information. So I'm trying it out. Here again, it's not, obviously, since the NASDAQ has been tearing, I do not suppose that I'm gonna get it perfect. But hopefully, if there's a little bit of profit taking, I picture that you could see this thing pop to 30 very quickly, just simply even a little bit of a pullback from what we have seen before. So again, the triple Qs, SQQs, is a way to play the downside. Playing these very large, big NASDAQ FANG stocks that are on all-time highs and trying to see if there's kinks in the armor. And again, so far, not on Google and Amazon, but at only 10 shares, you know, if you look at how much P&L I'm exposing myself to, it's really not that much. So that's the thing that I'm trying to get you to see. Lots of different ways for it to be done. But here, this is connected to interactive brokerage. The simulated trading, let me show you because I practice also. Right here, it says Trade Ideas Simulated Trading. And here you can see where, again, I'm trying different things, but in simulation mode. And notice, that's somewhere where I was in Kodak a little bit earlier in practice, and just in a lot of cool things that I'm trying out, and hopefully that will translate into some of the things that I'm in the real market. And that's what I do on practice. I sort of peel back and forth and see what I can do. Again, practice makes perfect. And this is the only technology that allows you to practice and monitor your P&L the right way. So John, people often ask us, what's Holly AI 2.0 and Neo? And without overcomplicating it, simply what you have is software that kind of approaches the back testing and analysis in a different way. If you have ever played golf, it's like a different club. One is a driver, one is a 7-iron, and one is a pitching wedge. All designed to move the ball forward, but just in different ways for different things. The simulation trading, guys, is all on real-time data. I mean, if you're a subscriber, because obviously if you're not a subscriber, then you can't get real-time data. So all of the simulated trading is in real-time data. We feel like that's the only way for you to learn. The only way is through experiencing P&L in real time and feedback. And something else that we're about to bring to market, guys, which is, again, something very unique, is a calendar heat map that, again, this is just a tab, sort of nothing on it yet, but you're gonna have a full day, like a journal that will follow you every time you trade and show you what you did, how well you did, etc. So let me see here. I'm reading the questions, guys, so bear with me. So George, in terms of the simulated, you can, by the way, simulate trade the AI. If you're a premium subscriber, you can have the AI trade for you in simulation mode so you can see what it's like and really feel what it's like without risking any money. It's amazing. And then you can see, like, well, what would I have done? Would I have really stayed in it? Can you let the AI just do it, or do you want to interact with it? Lots of different people approach it different ways. There's a bunch of people that just let the AI do it. Some people let the AI get in and they get out. Some people let the AI get in and they don't get out unless they are negative. I mean, lots of different rules that you can use. So again, John, charting, people always want to spend all their time on the charting. Guys, listen, charting is nothing but a visual representation of of a stock on a chart. That's it. The more time you spend there, the more it leads to paralysis by analysis. You can quickly see anything you need to see with trade ideas, okay? There's no additional indicators you need. So the difference is on ours, you can see AI buy signals from before. You get to see custom things, okay? And we never said that the AI is supposed to be where you plug it in and it just makes money for you. It helps you to train you. It's a expert-based system. In other words, it's not making the kind of mistakes that amateurs make because their emotions get involved. Okay, emotions in the stock market, like in many other things, can lead you in the wrong direction. And here, what you see is the power of consistency, okay? The power of consistency. Again, we're not trying to say that there are not traders who are potentially better than the AI, but we doubt it in terms of consistency because it's just very difficult to do. But all good. The thing is, here's the thing. Lots of people want to follow a guru, okay? But a guru has a very specific style that you would either have to imitate, and his style comes from a field that he acquired. You cannot acquire his field, his or her field. The AI is an expert-based system that teaches you the field through mathematical interpretations of market signals and trying to be much less emotional. Yeah. And also, of course, without the automation, we do connect to most platforms through our external symbol linking. So you can go to Tools, and there's an external symbol linking so that you can set up virtually any platform so that if you double click on a symbol, just like you did here, it'll load your execution panel, it'll update your charts, but in your own platform, like Thinkorswim or some of these other ones, okay? You can select, so Chris, I don't know if I'm going to answer this question exactly, but yeah, it's the AI. We do not know how many trades the AI is going to make on any day because it's an AI. You know, it only gets into trades that are mathematically feasible from its point of view, which is all mathematics. So from that point of view, we don't control that. But in the AI system, like there's lots of different strategies that come in that will be ones that are ready for tomorrow, for example. You can say, well, I only want to trade these, or I only want to trade these, or some people say all of them. That's up to you. And we are going to eventually add more filtering to it. But again, it's just been working very well. That's the bottom line. I mean, one of the things that we're trying to share is that you can't get on the Inc. 5000 for that many years in a row if you're not providing a value-add service. So first of all, Mohammed, any trader can create their own strategy and trade it, okay? I mean, again, we appreciate your suggestion, but any trader, you can create your own strategy with trade ideas and trade it, and that strategy does not have to be AI. The AI is just simply the automation of the strategy creation process, okay? It's the strategy creation process that's automated. A lot of people do not have the time or even the skill set to contemplate where to begin with a strategy. So in terms of you know, allowing people to do what you're asking, it already does it. All the AI calls, let me go back to this channel since again, I think it'll be easier to see. I'm gonna move this, bear with me here. Okay, So let's go. I'm on California time, everyone. Okay. So the first trade of the day started at 6:36 a.m. Okay. So that was the first trade of the day. 6:36, 6:40. Okay. 6:47, 49, 55, 7. Okay. Then there was 7:48. 8:17, 8:51, 53. I mean, and it just went on and on and on. It's all, if it's not in real time, it's nothing. John Van Tuen, yes, the AI is a form of automation, but you can create your own strategies. Like, for example, you can say tool, new alert window. I'm going to give you guys a real quick example of a strategy from scratch. Bear with me for 1 second. Okay, so this is an alert window, and I'm going to search for something that you guys all know, which is the 200-day moving average. Okay, I'm going to say add this alert. So in other words, the software will alert you anytime that there's a 200-day moving average cross. Now it's looking at every single stock out there. So I want to filter it. I'm going to be very simple. Price is $5 to $20. Okay, I'm going to make it 50. Just a bit more. Okay, and I want average daily volume of 500,000. Okay, so we'll just call it that, and we'll call this a build your system 200-day SMA. So here's a stock that had the 200-day SMA cross. Okay, and you can see what was the number. So now that you're looking at this alert, you can say to yourself, well, I want to back test it as a strategy. In other words, I mean, is there any value in me trading these signals? Okay. So I can start, you can notice you can change your time. Remember, I'm on the West Coast. So it starts at 6:30. So I'm going to say, look, I'm going to ignore the first 15 minutes for volatility. Just move it up. Okay. And I'm not going to add any trades at the close, of course, for, let's say, the last 2 hours, because that's just for management. These are just, you can completely change this, and I'm just showing you that it's very easy to do. And now I'm going to take a look at this strategy and simulate a buy. I'll explain what the rules were in a second. So this is your performance, and again, there's lots of stuff that you can do. But what I want to do is I'm going to run this again, and I'm going to show you how long did we held it for. Only 30 minutes. So we were testing this for 30 minutes, which is a very short amount of time. So let's test it till the end of the day. More on the swing trading time frame. John, yes, you can tie it to a specific list. Pedro, it's a good question. I really think that you have to, I mean, Brad, and maybe you can chime in here, but I think, and my personal preference is selecting them all because you can't exactly know. Remember, this is not fortune telling. This is not magic. It's statistics. We try to do the best that we can, but sometimes strategies that don't have the single best performance all of a sudden, you know, come out from behind, sort of like a horse race. Does that make sense? So Adrian, great question. So Adrian is probably a customer. I'm assuming you're a subscriber, right? Right, okay, so the reason you can't get that in a multi-strategy window the way you want to is because in the multi-strategy window, Adrian, you've got a bunch of different alert strategies. So what you would have to do is go to tools, new multi-strategy window. So you would have to go into the strategies. I mean, mine's empty, and then select one of those strategies and then backtest it. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does.
Yeah, essentially in a multi-strategy window, the components of that multi-strategy are a variety of different alert windows, and each alert window should get backtested in and of itself for its own parameters and such.
Right. But one of the cool things I want to go back to, hopefully I didn't close that. Let me show you something else. So here, alert window, notice I have recent settings. And let's see here. And because I forgot where my window was, right at the top, build your own. Okay. So I want to show you how we go from where we were on the day trading side to the swing trading side. Okay, timed exit, add the market open day after tomorrow. How about 7 days? And again, there's lots of different things that you can do. I think I clicked the wrong window by accident, but hopefully you get the gist. So Chris, let me go back. In this option right here, you go to Tools, Options, and AI Trade Size. So this is saying risk based on stop loss. So you want to risk at most $100 per trade. So it'll do the shares, how many shares you would have to have that if you were stopped out, you would have only lost $100. Okay. George, yes, the AI looks at everything. That's one of the reasons why it's so compelling, is because it's tracking things that's just, I mean, Brad, you and I, we've talked about this for, my goodness, how many times. It's just impossible for a person to replicate what we're doing by themselves, just because it's just too hard. Chris, yes, that is the correct answer. So ENSC, where are we on that one? ENSG rather, right? The reason it's 284 shares is because if we were stopped out, that's how I would have lost $100. No, it's all good. Hold on, guys, lots. All right, so we covered the risk tolerance. So, okay. So Mac, every trade is kind of like its own animal. You know, I mean, the ones that are blue like this are the ones that are above the entry price, so you know. Okay, so this one right here is below the entry price. Yeah, and again, Chris, you know, there's a lot of trial and error to getting it the way it works for you. George, all of those things are underneath the fold. So everything that you can think of, but multiplied by 100. You know, we're talking about consecutive up days, candles, all sorts of things. So Mohammed's asking about the multi-strategy window. So I'm going to go to New, multi-strategy window. Brad, do we have one in a cloud?
Yeah, I think if you go to, I mean, you could go to any one of the channels. Like pick a channel down there, and there's Alpha Predator. There's probably a multi-strategy in there.
Right. So right click there, strategies, Alpha Predator.
I guess there's only one. That's not a great example.
That's fine though. You can go collaborate. So I can send this to somebody. You know, you can right click and you can save it to and share to a cloud. And if I go save and share, this is a link that I can paste into. Where the heck is the chat? Oh, here it is. Right here. And now, everyone, once you see this link, now everyone who sees what I've been doing, they can copy that link and you'll have access to the same window. I think the channel bar is probably one of the least appreciated but most powerful things, because you really can kind of find these hidden jewels, let's call them. That's what this whole thing is about. Hidden jewels, Alpha Predator, trying to find percentages that are just way above the norm, okay? And we are working on a swing trade AI. I mean, guys, we have so much in the pipeline, all thanks to your support. So, Brad, are we caught up? I feel like we are, because it's almost the end here. One by fast when you're having fun.
Yeah, I'm still kind of reading and trying to catch up. We're almost there.
Okay, good. Brad will answer the rest of the questions. And guys, again, this is just the Q&A here with us. It's just a sample. We have unlimited education, a curriculum that's ongoing all throughout various aspects of media. Like we have a trading room run by Barry Anderson, who's one of our team members at trade-ideas.com/trading room. Great way to get started, different perspective on how people trade. Lots of different people that are creating a meritocracy of winners and proper risk management. A great way to get your fingers and toes wet. We also provide additional educational information, ebooks, and I think, Brad, they can get the historical ones too, right?
Yeah, I don't know the links of them, but we haven't taken anything down. I know that.
Yeah, so this one is on how to trade earnings. It's very good. trade-ideas.com/earnings. So Joseph, one of the ways that TI helps swing traders is you create those price alerts where you believe your swing exit or entries are, and you get in them. I'm going to go back to the software for one more thing, because again, there's a couple of things that I want to show you guys that really just real quick. One of the, notice right here, there's this dotted line. You know, people say, Dan, invest more time in your charts. Well, I say, well, who's got this in their charts? Every single chart has a swing exit built in. In other words, if you're long, here's your swing exit, okay? Every single chart on an intraday time frame, okay, let me bring this up. Where did it? Has both a smart stop and a profit target. So here, right here, what happened to KBR, Brad? Did it go nuts or something?
I'm not sure.
I don't know what happened there. Let me change this real quick. Okay, so here's an example. MLP, just a stock. And notice right here, this is the smart stop area. In other words, the computer says, well, I'm not in this, but if I just got in it, here is where I would place my smart stop. So it's kind of giving you a trading plan for every stock. You can do it for Apple. Okay, so here it's not in Apple, right? But if it was in Apple right here, the smart stop would be placed right there. So that's one of the reasons, that's one of the things that we focus on, what we try to work on, is that every single stock, any stock you look at, from Twitter to Snapple, here's your smart stop built in. So if you bought right here, this is your suggested risk exit, okay? And it doesn't matter if you're not in it, the software says, okay, I'm gonna assume you're in it. And by the way, if you're just bought it somewhere around here, here is the swing exit built in, so for the longer term. So how does this help you do what you need to do? Well, again, with a pre-built game plan, there's just nothing like it. So the swing entry is really the AI entry. Every single AI trade, guys, every single AI trade is designed as a potential trade you never get out of. The only reason you exit a trade is based on risk. So you should be able to look at all of them as risk-based. Like, for example, today, if I was trading the AI in the aggressive mode, I would still be in a lot of these positions. Okay. So every AI entry signal is not designed for just day trading, although we get you out because, think about it, to a customer, right, who just subscribed, it's not fair if all of our gains are based on some stock that's doing really good from January. That's not going to help you. You need new stuff right now. We're assuming every subscriber's kind of just started their subscription, so we do it the hardest way possible, you guys. Okay? Yes, there is, and in fact, Brad, there's something on the website for all the AI statistics. We've been adding this data, and we're going to do even more, Ben, in terms of displaying it, just that there's a lot of information. The stop loss is based on volatility, and it absolutely can be adjusted. You can drag and drop things. So you can grab the stop loss that you're in and move it down to lows. There's so many cool things you can do. In fact, let me make sure I'm not.
Yeah, right now you can manually adjust any of those stops. We will be including some functionality that you'll be able to customize those stops in the future.
Yeah.
That's with the AI. You can already do it with your own strategies, but for the AI I'm speaking of.
Yeah, let me show you guys one more thing here real quick. Okay. And this is maybe the biggest selling item, you know, in terms of the technology. So let's go to a stock like Intel, okay, and watch. So I'm just because I picked the stock that people know for no real reason. Notice how we have these B and S's on the charts. These are your visual buy and sell signals. So let's say I wanted to place my swing buy order right here. Notice it automatically placed my stop order. Now watch what I can do. I can adjust it up and adjust it down. Boom, boom, boom. See? The power is in your hands. Nobody does this. Okay? So let's get back to where we were real quick. So we got the ebooks, daily support sessions, and all you have to do is, see here, come on. Whoops. trade-ideas.com/live. We have an amazing support system that helps you get as much out of the technology as, again, you're willing to put in. So this is the price for our software. It's incredibly cheap considering we're the only consumer-facing AI in fintech. Yearly or annually is how, yearly or monthly is how people subscribe to our software. And today, if you put in a promo code of summertime, all caps, you get 15% off your first month or a year off of Trade Ideas. And this is how much it costs per day, just so that you understand. We have a podcast that we would love for you to check out. Search for it on your podcast search engine. And we are always available and active on social media. Like us on Facebook. And if you have any questions, shoot us an email to info@trade-ideas.com. Scott, I think we're good.
Yeah, everything sounds good. The recording will be up later on tonight or tomorrow, so stay tuned for that update. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Brad.
Yeah, summertime is the code. Okay, Scott, thank you very much.
Probably, Ben.